It's all down to pure mathematics as Australia look to squeeze into the T20 World Cup semi-finals. Welcome to Fox Sports Lab Cricket. I'm Ben Dixon, your host, and here with me the former Australian all-rounder, the greatest Australian all-rounder all time, Simon O'Donnell.
And you're one of the greatest judges I know, Ben.
Clearly, you've been listening. Coming up, the new ball segment, former Kiwi international Simon Doull joins us again as we make the call on who gets through in Group 1. In quick single, we look at whether India is a lock for the semi-finals. And in Yes, No, Wait, we put our man here, Simon O'Donnell, under the pump with a series of bold predictions. Let's get straight into it. We've got the new ball in one hand and the calculator in the other as we zero in on three crucial Group 1 games with Simon O'Donnell and Simon Doull. Great to have you back on the show, Dooley. Welcome.
Thanks very much, Ben. Yeah, nice to be here. We had a little bit of rain in Adelaide last night, but nice that it's fined up for golf this afternoon, so cannot complain.
Well, that's where Scoob and I are going. I took his money last week on the golf course, so looking to go back-to-back on that one. All right, let's look at the run rates, and there's only one man that was the scholar at Assumption, that is Scoob sitting next to me. New Zealand sits on 2.233. England is on 0.547, and Australia trails with minus 0.304. Righto. Can you do the math on us, and how do the Aussies make the ground against Pakistan?
That sounds a touch confusing, but let me simplify it for everybody, okay? New Zealand's a lock. Don't worry about what their run rate. Well, their run rate's fantastic. They're a lock. Australia and England are the two we've got to get clarified going into this final round. And here's how we clarify it. If Australia score 180 and beat Afghanistan by 60 runs on Friday, then England will need to beat Sri Lanka on Saturday by at least 10 runs to stay ahead on net run rate. That's not all. That means the difference in margins needs to be roughly 50 runs for England to hold their spot in the top two in Group A.
There you have it. He's waiting for an applause there, Dooley. And he lost me at hello.
It's very simple.
He lost me at hello.
It's very simple.
It's very simple.
I spent hours on that, hours, and you two just laugh at me.
Oh, no, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. All right, Dooley, your turn. Let's look at Friday and Saturday games. New Zealand wins and they're in. That's simple. So how important is it for England to play after Australia?
They're really important. I think that run rate that Scoob just talked about is vital from an England point of view. They know exactly where they stand. If New Zealand, win easily or win at all, they're through. I think that's fine. That's pretty much a given if they can get over Ireland. From an Australian point of view, they need to bash Afghanistan if they can. Might be without Rashid Khan too. We saw a little injury for him the other night in Brisbane, so that will certainly help Australia's causes. What they want to do, though, I think, is bat second. If you bowl first in any of these games where you need to lift your run rate up, you bat second and you just try and knock them off as quickly as soon as possible. Lift that run rate to a point where it puts some sort of pressure on England, who could be in trouble against Sri Lanka if they play well.
Well, Scoob, you've had the heat on Australia right from the get-go. Let's go forensic on the Aussies for a moment. So if it's not Dave Warner, who's the key to our batting lineup and who's going to get the runs required?
I reckon Mitch Marsh has just been waiting to explode. Absolutely waiting to explode. 16, 17, 21 in his 3 innings so far. The other night at the Gabba, I thought he was going to explode. Just fell short of it. I think he's our key man, Mitch Marsh.
Okay, like it. All right, Dooley. So who do we throw the new ball to in order to knock over Afghanistan? Is it a Stark? Is it as straightforward as that? Or who's going to take the new ball in your opinion?
Well, I think I'm going back to this, what I talked about last week. Pat Cummins, to me, if he doesn't take the new ball, then he probably shouldn't be playing. And they need Kane Richardson through the middle order, for me, moving forward in the tournament. But I would throw it to Stark every time. I just think the way he bowled the other night, I feel he's got that swing back a little bit. He can knock 2, 3, 4 over in his first 2 or 3 overs, and then Afghanistan are in all sorts of trouble. But I'd maybe throw it to Stark and Cummins, and maybe leave Hazel, because he's not really a swing bowler. So throw it to Stark and Cummins and see how you go there. Just hit him with genuine pace, and they don't play it that well. As long as there's a little bit of pace and bounce in the surface and they find that swing, I think it'll be fine.
Got to be Stark. Please be Stark.
You're praying for Stark.
Oh, please be Stark.
You heard it first, the two boys are on it. Now, Rashid Khan, he's a genuine superstar battling a knee injury. Scoob, how important is he for this inclusion against Afghanistan?
He's the Virat Kohli of Afghanistan. What Virat Kohli is to India, Rashid Khan is to Afghanistan. He has to play. Yes, he's under an injury cloud. If he doesn't play, it really helps Australia enormously because he is outstanding from a pulse point of view for the Afghani players, but what he is just a world-class bowler. So if Australia are chasing run rate, no Rashid Khan helps them enormously.
Doull, England, impressive against New Zealand. Joss Butler and Stormy, as Scoob calls him, Alex Hales, makes runs. And they've also found a bowler in Sam Curran. Do they deserve to make the semi-finals?
I think they do now. They're one of the pre-tournament favourites. You look at that side and you think they bat probably all the way down to 8, 9, and they've got 3 bowlers in their top 6, or 3 guys who can bowl in that top 6 when they play Stokes and Moeen Ali and Liam Livingstone as well. So it's a very, very good, well-balanced side. They were one of the pre-tournament favourites for that very reason. I think they do deserve to make it through, and look, it's really tough. It's going to be incredibly tough for Australia. If they put on a show against Afghanistan, then England are going to have to turn up against Sri Lanka, and that's all you can ask for. Aussies lost to New Zealand that first game has hurt them, and that could be what it comes down to at the back end.
All right, I'm going to put you two on the spot because you're geniuses in your own right. But who gets through from Group 1, starting with you, Scoob?
New Zealand are a lock. England are the second lock.
Oh, you heard it first. Dooley, he was pretty upfront and direct for the first
disagree. I cannot disagree. I just think that New Zealand and England make it through, and it seems as simple as that. I think it's too much work for Australia to do.
Dooley, outstanding having you on the show once again. To be honest, we're going to have you on every week because you're just tipping winners flat out. Scoob's just trailing behind you at the moment. But thanks very much for your time.
At least I can do the maths.
Cheers, lads. Thanks. He can do the maths. Thanks very much.
Well, that's why you're a scholar at Assumption, because you can just get the job done every single time. All right, that's what we've got ahead of us. We've got an outstanding Group 1 finish. Can't wait for this to unfold.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
It's quick single time. I'm Ben Dixon alongside Australia's greatest all-rounder, Simon O'Donnell. Welcome, Simon.
I'm not going to say it again, but you're a very good judge, Ben.
Let's get straight into it as we take a look at very tight Group 2. This could go down to the wire. So is India safe following their win over Bangladesh, albeit rain affected, but it was by 5 runs?
Yeah, win's a win, and you take it at the back end of the tournament. Look, they're going to be fine. India will play a semi. Whether they're 1 or 2 will depend on how South Africa's final game goes, but no, India, no problem.
Is India too reliant on Virat Kohli to make runs in this World Cup?
No, they aren't. They aren't. Because when India is successful, last 10 years, Virat Kohli's making runs. Doesn't matter what form of the game. So this 2020 World Cup, his form has been immaculate. Even though they invaded his hotel room, his form has still been immaculate. He's stayed, on theme that Virat Kohli plays well, India play well. I don't think that's going to change. They're a real chance of winning the tournament.
Harshdeep Singh has been India's leading wicket taker, but do they have a World Cup winning attack, Scoob, in your opinion?
They do, because they've done so well. With Bumrah not being here, that was a big out on the eve of the tournament. But they've been able to step up. And again, you need all your combinations working to be successful in a tournament like this. And that's exactly what India have going for them at the moment. Their batters are doing the job, their bowlers are doing the job. You need to be very cooperative to get to the end game, the big dance, the World Cup final.
Well, Zimbabwe looking for a big scalp. They want to go home with something to hang their hat on with this one. Can you see them upsetting India?
No, I can't. Look, they've done really well, Zimbabwe. I think through this tournament they've announced themselves back as a formidable cricketing nation, and I say that from the point of where they've come from. They've fallen off the face of the earth from a cricketing point of view, but they've at least now been competitive with some of the major nations. So, they've got 2 of the top 5 bowlers in the tournament in their attack. They've done particularly well. So I think it's small steps, and if they continue to make those small steps, in tournaments in the future, I think they can create some major upsets. All
right, what a weekend of action we've got coming up. We'll see where India is standing by the end of it, and that was Quick Single.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
Time for you, Simon O'Donnell, to sweat as we dive into yes, no, wait. Can I get a yes from you about Kiwi Glenn Phillips being the find of the tournament? You love a diamond in the rough. Is he a diamond?
He is. He's been a star. Half century, a century, played well under pressure. You know, has become an integral part of that Kiwi top six. So, I think he and young Finn Allen, they're integral to New Zealand playing well and scoring quickly. They seem to be sort of the heartbeat of it all. So, yes, a tick, no problem there. I really like the way that young Finn Allen is developing as well. So there's probably a couple of ticks for the Kiwis.
Is it a no to Virat Kohli's team going all the way? There's no I in team, but he's pretty much the man.
Oh, he's the man by far. New leadership look for India coming here to this World Cup. No Virat Kohli in that leadership look. That's really enabled him, I think, just to release a little bit of pressure and just play. Just play as a player. Don't worry about what you have to do as a captain, field placements. Go out there and enjoy your cricket. We've seen it right through the tournament. He has, and even though he's not the captain, he's dragging the other Indians along with him, and that's what he does best. We've said it before, I'll say it again, he's the pulse of the place.
He is.
And he's continued to be the pulse of the place right throughout the World Cup. So, while he's going well, India are a real threat here.
All right, now we're up to weight. This is where I love you, because are you going to declare Australia will make it through?
They won't make it through.
So there's no weight.
I just don't. Well, I don't think the Aussies, love them dearly, but I just don't think they've got it together. They haven't. In this tournament, they've just disjointed is not the word, but they haven't been themselves. It just nothing's flowed for them. It just seems to be they're playing disrupted cricket for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but it hasn't been the side that we saw win the T20 World Cup just over 12 months ago. That was just a well-oiled machine. We haven't got to that well-oiled machine here, and I'm not sure why. They'll have a look at it after the tournament, but I don't think they go through. I don't think they make the top two.
Can you believe we went into this talking about Aaron Finch and the calibre of batsmen you got sitting on the sidelines? They're just hoping the form was going to come with Australia, weren't they?
Yeah, and Aaron Finch is Australia's top run getter. But he's been horribly out of form. And even when he's making runs, you're thinking, this isn't the fella we saw 12 months ago. So there's lots of questions. They'll dissect all these issues once the tournament's done and dusted. First things first, they've got to get it over Afghanistan and see where the balls fall.
All right, now, who's your World Cup winner?
I've said New Zealand all the way along, that they've got two teams coming at them in a major way, and that's South Africa and India. One of those three, I'll tell you a bit later on which I think the one is. But I'm still with the Kiwis, Yeah,
you've been strong on the Kiwis all the way through. We'll see how it all unfolds as 8 teams prepare to say goodbye to the tournament. That's the show for this week. Thank you very much, Simon.
That's about.
Don't forget to follow us on the socials and make sure you subscribe so you always got the best up-to-date information at your disposal. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Fox Sports Lab Cricket.